Welcome. Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're unpacking the opening days of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and wow, it is already proving to be a tournament of absolute extremes. We're going to break down exactly what's happening by looking at the data, the headlines, and the ground-level reports from this colossal North American event. We're keeping it strictly to the facts, mapping out how the beautiful game is colliding with some really complex global realities right out of the gate.
So, it brings up the ultimate question we need to ask ourselves as we look at this tournament. What actually happens when the world's biggest sporting spectacle collides with real-world geopolitics? This isn't just about what's happening on the grass, it's about the whole shebang surrounding it. When multiple countries host an event of this magnitude, it acts like a giant magnifying glass on the current state of the world. We're seeing incredible, palpable excitement, for sure, but we're also seeing some very real-world friction.
Just take a look at this headline from Al Jazeera newsfeed. World Cup fever grips Los Angeles despite FIFA ticket prices, Trump policies. This quote just brilliantly captures the sheer duality of this tournament. On one hand, you've got this undeniable fever, right? Fans are absolutely electrified to have the World Cup in their own backyard. But right there, in the exact same sentence, we see the logistical and political shadows creeping in. The high cost of FIFA tickets and the impact of host country policies. It's this massive tug of war between pure sports joy and bureaucratic reality. Moving into our first section, kicking off 2026, the spectacle. Los Angeles absolutely pulled out all the stops for the U.S. opening ceremony. You had pop superstar Katy Perry and rapper Future headlining this incredibly star-studded event. It really represents the glitz, the glamour, and the massive cultural power of the host nations. The celebrity attendance was sky high, and it instantly set the tone for the huge scale of the 2026 tournament. It's exactly the kind of dazzling kickoff you'd expect from a World Cup hosted in the entertainment capital of the world, designed specifically to capture global attention before a single ball is even kicked. But, of course, a World Cup is ultimately about the football itself. Let's pivot to Section 2, Action on the Pitch, Opening Results. Here's our opening scoreboard. We've got the USA defeating Paraguay 4-1, Canada and Bosnia-Herzegovina drawing 1-1, South Korea edging out Czechia 2-1, and Mexico taking down South Africa 2-0. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights the immediate pressure on the co-hosts. The US and Mexico secured solid, multi-goal victories in front of their home crowds, taking care of business early and establishing dominance. But as we unpack the Canada game, well, things were a bit more complicated and dramatically tight. Let's break down some of these highlights. That Canada versus Bosnia game? A historic, hard-fought opener that ended in a 1-1 draw thanks to a dramatic late equalizer that just sent shockwaves through the stadium. And off the pitch, thousands of Bosnian fans literally turned the streets of Toronto blue. It's such a perfect visual of how diaspora communities bring the world directly to the host cities, completely transforming the local vibe. Meanwhile, over in Group A, South Korea staged a thrilling late comeback, with second-half goals from Oh Hae-Hong-gyu and Hwang In-beom securing a hard-fought 2-1 win over Czechia. But the biggest number from the opening round is 4. That's the number of goals the United States put past a tricky Paraguay team for a 4-1 thrashing. It was essentially a dream start for the U.S. co-host to open their campaign and really flex their offensive capabilities. Interestingly, the source reporting notes this dominant performance happened while Donald Trump's attendance at the match was reportedly in doubt. But regardless of who was watching from the VIP boxes, down on the grass, the U.S. team was totally dialed in and delivered a highly energized opening game. However, the on-pitch action definitely wasn't without its controversies. Our sources highlight 3 major takeaways from day one: heavy criticism over mandatory hydration breaks disrupting the flow of the game, extensive use of VAR, video assistant referee interventions, and a really surprising flurry of red cards. All of this created a ton of buzz and frustration among fans and analysts. People felt the natural, fast-paced rhythm of these intense opening matches was just repeatedly fractured by these stoppages, turning some highly anticipated moments into, well, waiting games. So the crucial point is that there is an entirely different kind of drama unfolding outside the stadiums. That brings us to Section 3, Politics off the pitch, the reality. We are seeing a massive contradiction here. On one hand, you have eager fans in LA completely gripped by World Cup favor, just thrilled to celebrate the sport and party in the streets. But on the flip side, fans are running headfirst into incredibly steep financial and bureaucratic walls, actively criticizing restrictive travel policies and sky-high FIFA ticket prices. You've got people desperate to participate in the global community of the sport, yet they're finding themselves either priced out or legislated out of the experience entirely. And those bureaucratic walls are having very real impacts on the tournament itself. border friction is taking center stage. Ghana's star player, Thomas Partey, was actually denied entry into Canada and had to miss his team's World Cup opener. Furthermore, the Palestine football chief stated he was not granted a U.S. visa to attend the tournament. In response to these incidents, which have also affected traveling fans, the U.S. has officially defended its visa denials. We're seeing a situation where border policies are directly dictating who gets to participate in and watch the games, effectively shaping the demographics of the tournament.
The off-field friction isn't just about paperwork either. According to the ground reports, just before the opening match kicked off in Mexico, protests erupted outside Mexico City's iconic Azteca Stadium, resulting in direct physical clashes between protesters and police. It's a stark reminder that while the television cameras are focused entirely on the pristine pitch and the cheering crowds inside, the host nations are still dealing with complex ongoing domestic realities right outside the stadium gates. We're also seeing global geopolitics play out directly within the fan bases themselves. As Bosnian fans marched through Toronto in celebration of their team, reports note they were actively chanting "Free Palestine." Meanwhile, Iranian football fans have openly reflected to reporters on the deep complexity of supporting their national team while being hosted by a country they view as being at war with yours. The fans are definitely not leaving their worldly perspectives at home. They're bringing these deeply held geopolitical viewpoints right into the heart of the host cities.
All right, let's take a breath and pivot to Section 4, the wild and weird, unpredictable moments. And this brilliantly illustrates the bizarre nature of World Cup fever. According to Al Jazeera, police officers in Peru actually dressed up as 2026 World Cup mascots to fool and capture a suspected drug trafficker. I mean, it's an incredible mental image, right? Law enforcement utilizing the hype and branding of a global football tournament as a tactical disguise for an elaborate drug bust. It just goes to show how far-reaching the cultural footprint of the World Cup truly is, leaking into the most unexpected corners of daily life. We're also seeing the integration of new technologies in how we talk about and analyze the sport. News outlets aren't just asking human pundits for their picks anymore. They fed vast amounts of historical tournament data into 4 different artificial intelligence models and asked them to predict the ultimate winner of the 2026 tournament. It's a fascinating modern twist on sports broadcasting, showing how AI is weaving its way into forecasting the deeply unpredictable nature of the beautiful game. Which brings us to our final segment, Section 5, What to Watch Next, the grueling schedule. Let's move to the timeline and see how this builds over the next few days. We go straight from the openers into some incredibly heavy-hitting matchups. June 13 gives us Qatar versus Switzerland and Brazil versus Morocco. The very next day, Germany takes on Curaçao while the Netherlands play Japan. By June 15 and 16, we're seeing global powerhouses like Spain, Belgium, France, and Argentina all taking the pitch against immensely diverse competition from across the globe. The sheer geographical spread of these matchups really emphasizes the massive, nonstop, grueling nature of the group stages. Which leaves us with this final thought. As the goals pile up, as the VAR controversies continue to stall momentum, and as the political debates regarding visas and travel policies rage on, will the 2026 World Cup be remembered more for its beautiful game or for its border frictions? It's a fascinating duality we'll be tracking all month long. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep a close eye on those group standings, stay curious, and we'll see exactly how this massive story continues to unfold.